All right, hello and welcome everybody. We are back after a mini break, but we are back because we are excited for the last or the pivotal test of the India England series, which happened a year ago. We are also super excited because we have completed a year of Toast the Toss. So we started these podcasts during the World Test Championship last year, and it seems like life's come a full circle when we're doing today's episode, as we pretty much got excited with how India played against England during that series, which was the motivation for us to start this podcast. And we've kind of survived the whole year, spoken about cricket, discussed so many things, put out a lot of content, and our year anniversary is coinciding with the last test of the India England series. So it's a double whammy, double excitement. We would like to thank all our contributors who have been on this show, who have contributed, and all the viewers who have encouraged us and who've continued to watch our videos. Thank you again, and we'd love to put more content out and maybe clock more years. Having said that, and put out everything which we needed to put out, let's welcome our panelists for today. We have the showrunner, who's back again on the panel, Arijit. We have our expert with the most balanced person on the panel who gives some balanced views, Tejas, and we have our left side choice, who has a different spin on things which we look from a different perspective. Welcome, Bidhu. Welcome, gentlemen, to episode number 36, India Returns to England. All right, let's get started. Everybody knows the big news. Unfortunate for Rohit to have tested positive on COVID. And I think it's official now that he won't be playing the test. Now, your reactions on Bumrah, the captain. Were you expecting? I mean, yes, he was the vice captain, but amongst this whole, what do we call it? It's musical chairs of captaincy. From the time Virat has given up, we have a new captain now for the test. But what are you guys expecting, and strategies from Bumrah?
Like few years ago when MS was captain of Indian Test team and he had Zahir Khan in his team, he used to call Zahir Khan, the captain of the bowlers, right? So he used to lead the bowlers, and then Ishan Sharma took over, and he was good as well. I think I've seen similar things with respect to Bumrah. He is the leader of the pace attack in all three formats. I think the other bowlers also know that. He's someone they can look up to, or whom they can. He's someone who inspires the other bowlers as well. I think the last time when India won a Test match in Lords in England, so he was the one who started that aggression, right? So he was bowling all those bouncers against Anderson. He was not, the English players said something to him, so he was not taking it lightly. So he, showed it with the ball. So I think he has all the good qualities for a captain. He leads from the front. He's a very skillful bowler in all three formats, and especially in Test matches as well. So, yeah, I feel it's a good choice. I think it is a well-informed choice from the team management. I think he's going to be a surprise package for many of us outside the team, as fans. But I think inside the team, everyone knows that Bumrah has special leadership qualities.
I have a feeling if India win the toss tomorrow and they choose to bowl, I think Bumrah might just target Jimmy Anderson with short pitch bowling to try and get him injured before they even go into bat. Just one of those body line tactics. Huh?
Yeah, nice that you put that thing up. With the number of captains that India have at the end of the year, we should just see how many captains actually win the toss.
But speaking about captains, I would have gone with someone like Pujara or even Ravichandran Ashwin, given that Jadeja had quite a disastrous captaincy at CSK, I would have rather gone with someone like Ashwin if he makes it to the team.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the whole question.
You answer your own question. I think I don't think either one of them are snow shot 11. Maybe Ashwin, I don't think he'll play tomorrow unless the pitch is dry, which I don't think it will be. And Pujara, in all fairness, no one really expected him to make it to the squad. So I don't think those two. I didn't really know. I mean, if you had asked me, I would not have picked him in the squad for this test match, but I'm not selected.
But you guys have given me good segue to the next question I had, right? Okay, now that we've spoken about it, what would be the ideal 11? What do we think should be the ideal 11? Let's go with the first question. With what we saw, England versus New Zealand, right? Just in terms of how much spin Bracewell was getting, Jack Leach getting 10 wickets in the last test match, if I'm not wrong, third one. And it's the peak of summer in England. Does it then merit to have both Ashwin and Jaddu?
Again, I mean, it'll be very tricky, at least for me, playing both of them. I know England currently is experiencing a little bit of a heat wave, and we saw in the last test match as well. It was conducive for batting first 3 days, and then it was almost like a subcontinent pitch. We can say that. But will Edgbaston be the same? Because if we see the history, it's quite seamer-friendly wicket. It really depends on how the pitch looks tomorrow morning. I think it will be very difficult, but I'd still go with Shardul because he has that knack of getting a little bit of reverse swing as well. That will also be helpful if the pitch is abrasive. So I'll rather go with Shardul than Ashwin. I think whatever Shardul offers with the bat is way too valuable than Ashwin's spin in these conditions.
So who would a bowling attack be? What's our recommendation for the bowling attack?
I mean, I felt personally, I always feel in overseas conditions when you're going with one spinner, Ashwin as a bowler should be preferred over Jadeja. But obviously, Jadeja gets a look ahead because of the batting that he brings in and the fact that Rishabh Pant can either score runs heavily or he can just get out. So you need a number 7 who can be a bit reliable. So, but personally, if there is one spinner, I would have gone with Ashwin with the pace attack of Bumrah, Shami, and either Suraj. Or there's Prashit Krishna who has been selected. So he might be a good alternative with Shardul Thakur. So let's see if they go ahead with Jadeja or with Ashwin, because Ashwin has of late proven that he can also bat quite well. So I would not be surprised if Jadeja is not selected and Ashwin is selected.
The only thing maybe going against Ashwin was the way he bowled against South Africa. For me, that series we should have really won. And I think, batting of Ashwin and as well as his bowling, right? I think that is where we felt maybe we lost the series. So I think, of course, there are many other factors. But that number 7 has always hurt us. And I feel Jadeja is probably the right candidate for now. And also, one guy we are forgetting, we always think Suraj is, of course, Suraj has to be in the team. But if he's injured or something, Umesh Yadav actually won us the game, almost played a really big role in winning us the last test match, right, last year. So Umesh Yadav is also a good candidate if Suraj is, here and there.
I think, again, means I don't have the numbers to back my opinion. Is what I think that Ashwin, he starts a series really well. Only in the end, he fizzles out. So in that respect, I would have rather gone with Ashwin, having seen him do really well in the first 2 tests of a series and then fizzle out of poorly. So I would have gone with Ashwin as my first choice.
And luckily, this whole series is just one test. So, if you go by the theory that he starts really well, then there is merit in just playing him. But okay, so what are we recommending as our bowling lineup? We're saying Bumrah is certain. He's the captain. Bumrah, Shami have to be first choices. There's a toss-up between Suraj and Umesh Yadav. Suraj for just the kind of pace and the way he bowls in the heart, he bowls his heart out. But the same thing with Umesh. So it could be a toss-up between these two. Then the other one is a toss-up either between Shardul and Ashwin, depending on how the wicket is. Shardul brings in more batting and swing. Ashwin could be the surprise package. And Jadeja is the other certainty. Jadeja has to be there just for his batting and also a little bit of spin. Okay, that kind of settles the bottom half of the team. Now, what do we do for the top half of the team? Sorry, Arijit, before we go to the top half.
Yeah, we'll stick in the middle. I will go for Shrikar Bharat as the wicketkeeper. If he'll stay.
I wanted to ask you this question. This was my thing. Do you want to open with Shrikar Bharat?
I would not have gone with Shrikar Bharat as an opener because even in the Ranji, I don't think so he opens. So I don't know whether he has that kind of an experience. But as a keeper, I think Rahul Dravid is pretty impressed by his skills. So he would be a certain for me. I can't speak for him.
But that's a very bold thing to say. I mean, against a proven match winner. So what are we going to do with Pant then? Are you saying that we're going to have two keepers? Like what England is doing, right? Ben Stokes and Bairstow, and then they can keep alternating between them.
I think when Ben Stokes plays, I think he's the first choice always. But but Pant, I feel he at least from what I've seen, he's a better test cricketer than a limited overs cricketer. I feel he's a little bit like Virendra Sehwag. If you take out the numbers, I think Sehwag was really good in test matches and probably not as good as we all thought he was in one days or even T20s for that matter. So I feel Pant is a good test cricketer and he has to be there. And his keeping is improving all the time. So I don't really see his place. I mean, he's a future captain for me in test matches, at least. So he has to be there. Yeah, KS Bharat it's an interesting option, but yeah, for now I think Pant should be India's number one keeper in test matches.
But let's just explore this option, right? Let's assume that they go with both Bharat and Pant. So where are they going to fit them?
I mean, yeah, the only way Bharat comes in and plays, he has to open. There's no other place open for him. Gill is a certainty. It's either Mayank or KS Bharat. I saw a little bit of his batting in that warm-up game on YouTube. They were filming it live. He looked solid. Actually better than other established players like Hanuma Vihari or even Cheteshwar Pujara and even Kohli for that matter, right? So he looked more solid and more at home than these guys. So that's why I for me, he's the opener for tomorrow's test match. But I won't be surprised if Mayank makes it.
But
Mayank just flew in, no?
What about pushing Pujara up and keeping Shrikar Bharat at number 3? Is that a viable option?
Yeah, he's done it before, but if you ask Pujara, I think he'll always say that he prefers to bat at 3 and he has done well at 3. So I wouldn't really, anyway, a guy coming in after being dropped, you would rather give him his usual spot than playing around with his spot. So I feel Bharat should open and Pujara at 3. But yeah, in all likelihood, maybe it will be Mayank and Gill opening tomorrow. So it's a toss-up between Bharat and Mayank.
I'm just thinking about this whole Mayank question, right? Mayank just flew in. So he's probably flew in. He joined the team on Monday, right? We are on Thursday. So he's probably just had 3 days. Just net, not even like a proper center wicket practice. And yes, he is an international player. He's been thrust into this in the past. So yeah, either it's a punt between getting Mayank and going with the option that, okay, if he fails, he fails, or saying, let's give Bharat an option, and if he fails, same thing, right? I mean, what's the probability? It's a 50-50.
Yeah,
the fear that I have is if you look at the batting lineup, irrespective of whoever plays Mayank or Shrikar Bharat at the top, we just have one stroke maker. Because Rohit Sharma and KL both are players who could have scored at 3.5 runs. Right now, not considering Kohli, because we don't know what sort of Kohli will turn out eventually. You just have Rishabh Pant who is going to score runs, else everybody, including Pujara, they will take time to build innings. And you just compare them with England counterpart, they're just chasing runs on fourth innings. Within 50 overs, they're chasing 300 runs. So you need someone to bat freely, and I think Mayank Agarwal has that edge. He can come in as a proper batsman, and we might expect him to do the bulk of scoring. Because Gill, yes, he did score well in Australia, but those were seaming wickets where he could play the cross-batted full shots and all that. But in England, you have to play straight-batted shots in the V. So even I'm not sure, you could have even Mayank Agarwal and Shikhar Bharat and drop and not place Shubman Gill, because Shubman Gill is selected because of his potential and promise. It's not that he has done really well in these conditions. So you can see that option as well.
I like how we can make some controversial statements and then try and I think we should definitely open a Twitter account and then keep running a ticker saying, here's a recommendation, drop Gill, get Mayank and Bharat. It'll get a lot of people talking.
Suraj, one thing I would appreciate about you got the intro of Bidhu right spot on, but like he has a he has a
very different perspective, but yeah, but it's a very interesting perspective. You're right, Bidhu. I mean, to a certain extent, I don't think they will drop Gill, but that is a possibility that you definitely. Because I'm just thinking, right? I mean, let's count this: Mayank / KS Bharat as an opener. Then you have Gill. As much as you think that maybe they should drop him, they may not, right? So that's 1 and 2. 1 down, we have a Pujara, right? Now 2 down is Kohli. Who do we have 3 down? 3 down is so it's a toss-up between Hanuma Vihari and Shreyas Iyer.
Anyone but Iyer. I think Vihari will get the because
will get the nod. No, but I actually I mean, it's a really good point that Bidhu mentioned actually. So we don't have really good stroke makers, and Shreyas Iyer, the last time he played Test cricket against Sri Lanka, he scored around 80 odd in a quick time. So I mean, yeah, it's a tough thing selecting. I mean, Bidhu just made everything even more tougher. So
yeah.
No, the
Yeah,
point
like a
was
Vihari versus,
we had assumed that Shubman Gill was selected. Actually, Shubman Gill was not selected. It was Mayank Agarwal and Rohit Sharma when India toured last time, and then Mayank Agarwal got injured and KL Rahul got in. So the assumption is that Shubman Gill was the incumbent, which was not. Shubman Gill was actually dropped after the Australia series because he was not scoring runs, and that's why.
But I have one question: how many times does KL Rahul get injured here?
No, this is sports hernia.
Less than Rohit Sharma.
No, this one is sports hernia. So I mean, that's this. He had to get a surgery done. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I had the same question as Arijit, right? Like we always talk about KL Rahul, something happens, he gets injured. Then there's always talk about Rohit Sharma, and then something happens to Rohit Sharma. So you're always looking for alternative options, and India have kind of one series with alternative options. Like when they went to Australia, these two were the top choices, and then it suddenly became Mayank, then Prithvi Shah, then Gill, and then
It also.
On that note, why is Prithvi Shah not on that flight to London and instead of Mayank Agarwal?
I'm so happy that he's not. There's just one point over there. These guys are getting injured. It just shows the fact that how much cricket that these guys are playing. Right? IPL. Then there was a 5-match series against South Africa, and then a couple matches over there in Ireland. Right after this test match, we have 3 one-day T20s against England. Right after that, in a couple of days, they have to travel to Florida in USA to play West Indies. So it is only logical that these guys get injured, who are not as supremely fit as Kohli. But this is where Kohli's fitness comes in.
I'm also happy that now that we have 2 different squads, and then BCCI found a way to send Dravid to England. They sent Lakshman to Ireland. So, if need be, if we need to have multiple squads and multiple coaches traveling, we have that in place. So that in a way is good opportunities for people. Okay, moving on from the Indian team to the English team, right? Can the English team do anything wrong? it seems like they've not turned the page, but it seems like they have brought a completely new book to write on from where they were last year when we toured to what has suddenly happened to them in the course of these 3 test matches against New Zealand. It almost seems like they were struggling to put together a team together, and now it's almost like every second person can be a match winner. Like, what just happened?
It's an interesting thing you said, Suraj. I mean, is there something that they can do wrong? They've done a lot of things wrong, but the only difference is they're not afraid to take that risk. Right? That's the only difference that I see. They still had Bairstow last time around. They still had all the Stokes. I think Stokes wasn't there, but Root was playing as good as he ever has. So there's just I see that there is no fear of failure. Even at 55 for 6, if they come in and score at more than 6 and over in a test match against the likes of Southee and Bolt, I mean, the only logical reasoning out there is fearless cricket. I think that is what they're doing. It might not hold on, or it might not work all the time, but at least they're not scared to implement that strategy. So that for me has been something refreshing from England.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? I mean, see, at 55 for 6, they went to attack and it came off, which is why it looks good, right? And maybe because it was in the 3rd test, even if it wouldn't have come off, most people wouldn't have told them anything because they were already leading. But think about it. They continue to be aggressive, and there were a couple of half chances which either a Bairstow or an Overton gave. If those were converted into wickets, then England could have been shot out for under 100. But it's a different story that the risks came off and it kind of looks good. But yeah, their strategy kind of leaves it. It can play into the opposition's hands, but it can also take the game away from the opposition in a very short span of time.
Suraj, last month or about 2 months back, I was continuously fighting with Tejas over Brendan McCullum's coaching and what he did to KKR. But he's doing an incredible job, actually. More than the two teams playing, I'm just looking forward between the coaching strategies or the strategies by Rahul Dravid and Brendan McCullum. Both seem to be of a different school of thought, but that would be actually very interesting to see how this match ends up.
I actually don't know if they come from two different schools of thought, because let's jog a memory back to when Rahul Dravid was captain in Pakistan on 194, and Rahul did declare because he did not care so much about personal milestones, but he said, I need to give my bowlers enough time to take the 10 wickets so that we could win that match, right? So it's in my opinion, I thought both are very aggressive. It's just that Rahul has a very different demeanor, and maybe Baz McCullum has a very different demeanor, but I thought their strategy was, when they were captains, and as individuals, I thought they were aggressive. And they always wanted to go for the win. I mean, I could be wrong in my reading, but this is how I did it.
I went by strike rates.
Yeah, I mean, Suraj, just to elaborate on the point that if you want to go back to Dravid's captaincy and the overseas series, he did lead India to the victory in 2007 against England. And he was a batting consultant when India went to 2014 to England. And I remember during that series, Murli Vijay really scored well, across Test. Rahane scored a brilliant 100 in Lords. So I think he would be very aware of what the conditions would be. And obviously, but the only thing which really scares me is if you compare Brendan McCullum and Rahul Dravid is in 2008 IPL, the first match when McCullum scored 140 against Royal Challengers Bangalore when Dravid was at the helm. But that's a T20 game, so where McCullum had an upper hand. But this is Test match where I feel Dravid knows that there is always a chance to come back into the game. And again, the point they just made, India has a better bowling lineup than New Zealand. And if India bolster their spin attack by including Ashwin, I think England will have a little bit of surprise, because Bairstow and Stokes, they are a little bit tentative against spin bowling.
Yeah, I mean, that was my Next question: how do you stop this England lineup? Lees and Zach Crawley has not necessarily performed really well against New Zealand, so let's assume he's a walking wicket. Alex Lees again has a slightly better. Would you believe he has a slightly better footwork than Rory Burns? Because Rory Burns would pretty much walk across the stumps before he played the ball.
Yeah, Alex Lees, I was impressed with him in the second test match when they were chasing 299. He was the one who started getting that momentum. He scored, I think he was at some point 40 or 40. You don't really expect that from an English opener. So he has the game. He definitely has the game to implement the new mindset of this England test team. So I think he looks better than the other guys who have tried. I'd still back Zach Crawley. I think at least for me, he's a special player. I think he'll come good at some point. Hopefully not tomorrow, but yeah.
Yeah. And then there's Ollie Pope, right? There's a lot of questions about whether he fits into the one down, the number 3 spot, but then he's got a century. So again, Ollie Pope is in good nick. Maybe we don't expect him to score big against India, but he's in good nick. Then there's Joe Root who's scoring daddy hundreds, right? And then comes who? Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes is right, and Ben Stokes with captaincy, and then comes Bairstow. Then there's Ben Foakes, and now they have Jamie Overton. I'm just thinking, this team can bat till they are 8 down?
Broad can bat.
Yeah, but
he's not the same batsman as before, but yeah, I get the point.
Yeah, so what do you guys think are frailties which India can exploit? Yes, Bairstow and Stokes are suspect against spin. Other than that,
make sure that
they just pointed it really well that the fear aspect has totally gone out from the English team. That's one thing which makes them the favorites for this test match, actually.
For me, just make sure that England's number 8, whoever it is, doesn't score runs. We've seen it happen. We've seen Sam Curran score against us. Last series as well, I think number 8, Robinson scored a few runs for them as well. So please make sure that number 8 doesn't score a lot of runs. And at number 8, it's Jamie Overton who nearly got a century. Coming in at 55 for 6. So yeah, we're good with the top order batsmen. We've always been good. I think it's the tail-enders, and that is where Bumrah and Shami need to stand up and clean up the tail as soon as possible. I think our bowling attack too good for any top order you can imagine in the current playing scenario.
I'm also thinking maybe India is in a slightly better position to play fearless cricket because we're leading 2-1. What's the worst that could happen, right? If we lose, it'll still be 2-2. So we don't lose the series, but we draw the series. So maybe India goes all guns blazing and say, if we try becoming too aggressive, and if we lose, that's okay. But if we win, then it becomes 3-1. Yeah.
I think
sorry, go ahead. Finish your point.
Well, I think every test match you'd want to win, and especially with Test Championship format. Again, it's 12 points at stake. So there'll be pressure in India as well because we are nowhere near the top in the Test Championship standings. So there'll be a little bit of nervousness, but again, if they win, they'll make history. I think we've seen with this Indian team whenever there is a chance to make history, I think they always give their best. So hoping for the same tomorrow.
Yeah, they bring their A game. Just on a side note, I'm waiting for the day when England is going to play Jamie Overton and Craig Overton together. Similar looking, identical looking twins, which I just realized recently. Both fast bowlers and lower order batters. So it'll be interesting to see the twins play. But on that, we are almost at the end of the show, gentlemen. Any final comments other than all of us wanting India to win?
Yeah, I think let's hope Bumrah wins the toss and bowls because it will serve two purposes. One is it would allow them to bowl at England batsmen on a conditions which would be suiting bowling, and it would also allow Indian batters to bat at a time when the pitch would have a little bit eased up. So if luck
Which
favors
is the
us,
fourth and the fifth day.
yeah, even in the first innings, if they bat on the second day also, I think they have a good enough chance to score big runs, and that would frustrate England a little bit more. So don't give England the option of batting fourth. Let them bat at 3. Let them go at a strike rate of over 6 or an economy of over 6, and take the risk of getting bowled out and not posing a big total for India, and see how that pans out. Because I think the last series, all the 3 games, England chased at the end. So they had a sight of what exactly they need to do. But if they do that on the third innings, probably they would be a little confused of what to pose, because India have chased big totals in Australia with Rishabh Pant coming at the back end and scoring all those runs. So that might be the strategy to go forward.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Thing that I'll be looking forward to is doesn't matter if Suraj plays or Umesh Yadav plays. I think either one of them will trouble Joe Root a lot. So I'm picking either one of them, whoever plays, to get the wicket of Joe Root, and the battle will be fascinating to watch.
Nice. Arijit?
I hope, I hope, I don't know, we discussed all the points. It's very scary after this discussion, it seems a little scary for India, but again, if they can take the fear out of the equation, it's anyone's game.
Yeah, I mean, what India can also do is just get Rohit to meet Bairstow, and that's about it, right? And ensure Bairstow doesn't play. But jokes apart, it's been a good return back to our Toast the Toss episode 36. Thank you again, gentlemen. We definitely think it's going to be an exciting test match. We will be glued to our screens, and we hope you are as well. And we hope Bumrah wins the toss and puts England into bat. That's what we're predicting for tomorrow. We will come back with a show sometime later this week to discuss about how the test is going. But till then, thank you again for watching, and we will see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.